Some chairs just deserve to be safe. Look what I found, y'all. This is like, 60s, maybe 1970s. It's a super funky slipper chair. The problem is, the upholstery is actually in pretty good shape. I found it in her bedroom, and I think she just used it as like a little accent chair. So, but I mean, look at, the fabric is just killer. Problem is that the foam inside of this bag, here, whether you can hear it, it's gone. So I'm not doing like a full restoration project. I'm gonna add this is 3-inch foam. I bought online from the foam factory. I got a little bit more because there's a couple other chairs around the shop that I'm gonna do. But my point is that you can get some new foam. It's not that expensive. Get yourself some batting, because I'm gonna put the batting on top of the foam and then put it back into the case. We're gonna use a little spray adhesive. I like the Scotch product. I'm gonna trace a template after I measure this guy on the phone, and I'm gonna cut it out with a bread knife, and then we're gonna stuff it back in there. So I'm gonna go measure, draw, cut, and I'll keep you updated. All right, so I've measured twice, and I marked everything out, and then I measured again and drew my lines. So now it's just time to cut. I'm just using a bread knife. I know there may be there's some fancy foam cutters and whatnot online, but I mean, for whatever reason, I just don't really feel like spending the money. And as long as you keep your blade pretty straight up and down, it does a really good job. And you may be thinking that you don't need batting, but when it comes to foam, batting kind of hides some mistakes that you might have made. So, if you cut it a little bit wonky, the batting will actually it'll help smooth it out, so you won't be able to see. I like doing one piece and then cutting the second one. If you're using a bread knife, make sure that your foam, you get a little bit extra, because cutting a section like this is no problemo, but when you get within about a half an inch to an inch, it's not so easy to cut, because it'll flop and fold, and it's just a lot easier if you have a little bit extra material to work with. And again, I'm just trying to keep this knife I don't know where I learned how to use the bread knife, but I was probably doing like some of you guys and like the bread knife, really. But anyway, now I got my foam piece. I'm gonna cut my batting to go over this, clear off my thing. I'll be right back. So now with the batting, what I want to do is I want to cover everything but the bottom section of it. So in other words, I want to do the back and the front and then the sides as well, which we'll probably have to pull a little bit. And the reason I want to do that is it's going to be a pretty tight fit when we try to stuff it back in. So these don't have to be like precision cuts, but I'm going to make a little fold right there, because I can stretch it. So if I leave it a little bit short, I mean, it's going to be okay. Wait a second. And I have a whole roll of this stuff just because it's a little less expensive to buy. But there's a lot of places that you don't have to buy. You don't have to buy it in bulk. So, if you're looking at this going, wow, I don't know if this is going to be the right project for me. Some of the upholstery guys have them big, long scissors on. You need to invest in a pair of those. So now I've got that done. So what I'm gonna do is gonna kind of get it where I can get everything into place. I'm gonna spray the top of this. I use Scotch permanent spray adhesive is what they call it. They sell it at Walmart. I think $12 or so. But I'm gonna do this because I don't want this moving all over the place when I'm trying to tuck it back into the seat itself. So that'll give it a nice stick. And I'm going to do the same thing front and back. And it's okay if you go over a little bit. It's not going to hurt anything. We're using this so that it looks nice and even. And so that it's a little bit easier to slide in. Plus it'll make the chair itself a little bit more comfortable. I'm not going to pull too hard because I don't want these to be, I want it to keep its shape, and I don't need it all the way down. Got a little excess that snip it right off. And you don't want a whole bunch of excess in the corners. So I'm just going to angle cut and then cut straight down. That way it doesn't overlap, because I don't need any more material, because putting it in that the bottom cushion thing is going to be difficult. But I'll be right back to show you how it works. Show you how it looks. So here's the completed project. New 3-inch foam, little batting, but look at her. Ain't she cool, man? And just to recap, this is what we started with. I'll let you hear it again. I mean, that foam was completely gone. And super easy project. So all in all, it took me, I think, 20 minutes to do it. I just cut the foam, added the batting. I mean, the hardest part is stuffing the stupid foam piece back in the casing. But you know, if you've got an old chair and the foam sounds like that, it's really not a bad project. Pretty easy to do, and the materials aren't really that expensive. So save a chair, add some new foam.